Hello, Dr. Charan. Lovely
Hi,
to have you with
Sommer.
us.
Good to be here.
Tell us a little bit about your academic background.
Yeah, I would describe it as being fairly multidisciplinary. At A levels, I did French, English literature, chemistry, and then when I came into UE, I decided to pursue science. So I did chemistry, zoology, and botany, then dropped the zoology because I felt more comfortable working with plants, and graduated with chemistry and botany. And then for my PhD, I focused on plant biochemistry. But during my career, that didn't satisfy me. So when I met up with gender studies, that opened up a whole new world. In my own discipline, went on to look at molecular biology, which were new disciplines in the 80s, as well as engineering, genetic engineering, and bioethics. So I spread myself out a bit.
Yes, that's quite extensive. So, how were you able to contribute to the IGDS at the St. Augustine's campus?
Well, I got introduced to gender studies pretty early in the 80s when there was a small women and development studies group on the campus, and I got this invitation from my earlier history professor, Professor Bridget Brereton, who I admired a whole lot.
Yes.
And she invited me to join the meeting. I think they were looking for spreading out gender in various disciplines, and I was the only female at the time in science. So I attended the meeting and just kept on going to their groups and trying to understand what this was all about. It was really very, very new to me at that time. Later on, of course, during that period, I coordinated the Women in Development Studies for 4 years, during which time we held a number of interdisciplinary and disciplinary seminars. They developed a lot of materials for developing courses in gender studies, so it was very exciting. I remember in those early days we did the survey of needs of students and staff for childcare, and I'm glad that that's now coming in being.
Yes.
More than 20 years after the survey was done by Maureen Kane. Stephanie Pine was also involved, Professor Reddock as well, and I'm glad that she's seeing it through to the end. And of course, in my own discipline, I was able to introduce a course on gender and science, which I think was sort of path-breaking. It wasn't easy, it wasn't well appreciated by my male colleagues. I didn't think they understood what it was all about, but it got passed through academic board, and I began teaching it in 2000 and got really good feedback from students. It allowed me to change my pedagogy as well. I could now open up with the students and teach them more than what's in the book. We had discussions, debates, journal writing. The students really appreciated. They had a voice in the classroom, which they tend not to have in the science. So for me, it was to and froing teaching the science class versus the gender class. It was totally different. Okay. And I myself enjoy teaching the gender course a lot more.
So, as you move on from IGDS St. Augustine, can you tell us what your best memories were of your experience?
A lot of memories. One that stands out is that I spent 2 weeks in Runway Bay, Jamaica, on a management training workshop for women. We had colleagues from the 3 campuses, and we had to bond together. It was a very intimate workshop. We got to know each other really very well over that 2-week period. But it was very enriching as we found out about each other, we supported each other. And it was such a wonderful experience that when we came back, we decided to maintain that connection that we had managed to build during those 2 weeks. And we found the group under the tree, and we would have weekly meetings or monthly meetings and kept abreast of each other and how we were coping with the university. And that was a pleasant memory. Also, the memories of the seminars. I was able to participate in a number, but also to be responsible for gender and science. So I ran a workshop in Jamaica, as well as here, gender issues in agriculture, and to see that they have now been incorporated in the academia is very fulfilling for me.
Please tell us a little bit about your involvement with the Women Gender Water Network, what projects you might have worked on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when I joined the Women's Studies and Gender Studies, my focus came from broad background of science, but really focused on the environment. Had a genesis in a big I project, Island Sustainability, Livelihood and Equity, which involved 5 major universities, Canada, the 3 UWI campuses, the University of Philippines in the Visayas, and in Indonesia as well. I was very much involved in participatory research and gender and the environment. That led to a whole project on the River Swamp, and of course then that led to water. And water is a commodity that is really receiving a lot of attention, and so I joined the Women, Gender and Water Network and was involved in the rainwater harvesting project. So there were a number of environmental projects that we got involved with.
Where do you see the Women, Gender, Water Network going?
I think there's a big role to play in educating, especially rural communities, about their water supply, how to maintain it, what they can be doing, and how they can test and manage their own water, whether it's by solar disinfection of the water, being able to test for bacteria and so on. We empower communities to get responsible about their water supply and manage their water supply.
What thoughts or advice would you like to leave for your gender studies students or others who might come to do research at the IGDS?
Yeah, I would say that they should come with an open mind, be prepared to critique or think through their own thoughts and how they've grown up. You have to really challenge yourself. I think they must come here with the idea that they are going to be joining a family. It's a very close-knit unit, and to appreciate the teamwork and that they're going to be getting a lot of help through team while maintaining their own individuality, their own creativity. Don't be afraid to ask the silly questions or the one that feel they're not so comfortable with. They need to be open and to ask these questions and to enjoy the time that they spend in gender studies.
That's good advice. Well, thank you very much, Dr. Charan, for taking this time to speak with us.
You're welcome, Sommer.
We've truly benefited from you being here at the IGDS with us, and we're not going to let you go.
Thank you very much.